So, throughout my years of testing VPN, I've primarily used speedtest.net in my VPN reviews. One reason is that since I kind of started it in the beginning, it was kind of a way to keep a consistent kind of measure of speed in my reviews. I've never really liked the website though, and especially in the last couple of years, there's been some problems with it. Namely that speedtest.net is associated with J2 Global. J2 Global itself also owns IPVanish, which is another VPN. And I do think there could be some conflict of interest there with that, testing VPN providers on a website owned by a VPN provider. Perhaps if they detected which VPN you're using, they could lower the speeds or something like that. There also are just overall some problematic things with speed test and VPN. A lot of times, certain VPNs can detect you using a speed test or something like that. They will automatically make the speeds look better. It's something like bandwidth compression is a term that I've seen tossed around that could influence speed tests. So I've always made sure to include the torrent test because I think in a lot of ways that is more accurate. There has been pretty consistent indication of fast torrent VPNs getting good torrent results, do get good results with speed tests as well. But nowadays I do kind of not want to use speedtest.net anymore for sure in future reviews. And I'm going to be talking about that why for more reasons in this video. So one reason I don't want to use speedtest.net anymore is something I already touched on briefly, is that they're owned by a lot of other companies, and I'm not a huge fan of J2 Global as an overall company itself. I found some documents about the company talking about how they kind of have a weird history of purchasing companies, some weird financial history and stuff like that. Buying companies that don't necessarily do well, but still buying the companies all the same, which is a little bit weird. I'll put that down in the description if you want to check that document out. If you want to find more information about why J2 Global could be kind of sketchy, perhaps, but I'll let you read the document and come to your own conclusions. But I do really feel like I am concerned about the privacy policy for speedtest.net because one reason we're using the website is to test VPN speeds, and if you take a look at the privacy policy, you can see that it is horrible. They may process your personal details, your name, demographic data, contact details, records of your consent, purchase details, details of your employer, information about your content or advertising, demographic information, all sorts of things. Pretty much nothing is of the limit. They're pretty much going to collect your non-precise information about the approximate physical location, information about use of the services such as usage and data and statistical information, browsing history. Anyways, guys, they pretty much collect anything you don't want them to collect, including log files, which may include IP addresses, browser type, ISP, referring exit pages, operating system, date timestamps, and or clickstream data, including any clicks on customized links. So they pretty much collect everything, and this is one of the reasons why I kind of want to stop using it now. But there are kind of problematic elements of this in that one reason I have used speedtest.net is you can get pretty accurate results on the website. And another website that is, I would say, more reliable in terms of having better privacy would probably be speedof.me. Now, I've used this in a couple of videos in the past, but my problem with this website is that for some reason it never really indicates the same speeds that other websites do. I've seen that some people say speedof.me is more accurate and these are more realistically your real speeds, but I'm not really too sure about that. There are also other websites like Fast.com, which I probably will end up using in the future. So Fast.com is owned by Netflix, so you could kind of give or take the privacy there as well. I might, trust Netflix more as a company, though, I think, than J2 Global. Like I said, I think speedofme.me is a little bit more trustworthy than perhaps most of the other ones, but the results seemed kind of weird. I do like Fast.com in terms of the presentation and the information it gives me. The speed tests seem very accurate. They even wrote a blog about kind of the design and architecture of the website and why it works so well. So that's really cool to see. But we could see really good results on this website, giving me pretty much exactly the speeds that I think I'm getting. And when I'm testing VPNs, it also gives me very accurate results as well. So I'll probably be using fast.com in the future. Another good website for testing stuff, I think, in terms of having more privacy and transparency perhaps, is something called DSL Reports. The cool thing about this website is that I like its interface, even though it's kind of ghetto in some ways. The cool thing about this website is that it kind of saves your previous results, I guess probably through cookies or something like that, and you could get some kind of indication on, your real speeds versus your VPN speeds. However, my problem with this website, like speedup.me, is that for some reason my speeds always seem a little bit different than other websites. If you take something like fast.com, this is my speeds with WireGuard, around 660 megabits per second, and you could see my upload is probably going to be around the same area. But if you look at something like this website, this is my speeds. So the upload is pretty accurate, I think, but download still seems to be a little bit low for this one. Not really sure why compared to something like this. This seems to be a little bit more accurate for me, especially since I'm getting a gigabyte. The problem with that website is that it's kind of incompatible with certain browsers or even operating systems. This guy on my server who uses Linux couldn't get it to work. So while I do like the history of results and the general look and perhaps idea of the website being a little bit more trustworthy, it can be hard to get results sometimes. So guys, what is kind of like the final thoughts and ending points of this video? Well, I probably won't be using speedtest.net anymore in future videos because I don't really trust the parent company. And I do think there is a conflict of interest with IPVanish being a VPN. And if I'm testing VPNs with a service owned by the same company, it's a little sketchy there. I do think the privacy policy of the website itself is very horrible, collecting all sorts of information. It hasn't always been the most accurate results. It has done a decent job, but I do think that fast.com perhaps could be more private, have a more trustworthy company, and give just as good or even better results than the speedtest.net. Not only that, but we could see other options like Speed of Me being good as well for certain users, depending on where you are around the world. It doesn't really seem to work that well for me, but does prevent probably more privacy and collect less stuff from you than the other options. Anyways, guys, those are my final thoughts on this and just kind of a transparent video on why you might not see me using speedtest.net anymore in future videos or just in speedtest in general. Let me know what you guys think of speedtest.net, what your current opinion of the best speedtest websites are. If you've made it this far in the video, that's how I'll know. And I'll see you guys in the next one very soon.